joined by Dr. Chandler James, Assistant Professor of Political Science at the University of Oregon. First of all, Dr. James, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for coming in on a historic day today. Let's jump right into it. We'll start at the federal level. A lot of us were anticipating a long wait before we found the results. We got it in the first night, essentially.
Right.
Did you see that coming? What kind of led to that?
Right. What happened was this race was not as close as many people expected it to be. In many of the battleground states, former President Trump and now President-elect Trump outperformed his 2020 performance, and the Harris campaign underperformed. And so, whether it be Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Trump did way better than was expected, did better than the polls, and as a consequence, he was able to secure a victory by late in the morning or last
night, early morning.
Yeah.
Was that overperformance mostly in those rural counties or in those urban centers, or was it a little balanced?
Well, he did a lot better among suburban voters than he did in 2020. He ran up the numbers with rural voters, but he made inroads with some groups not typically sympathetic with Republicans, such as Latino men, and his performance among black men was better than usual. So as a consequence, Trump was able to build a coalition that was a clear majority.
Now, this is the first time since 1892, 132 years, if my quick math is correct, since a president has won non-consecutive terms. What sort of led to that result? Where did that support come from? Like we talked about a little bit there for President-elect Trump.
Right. So his 2016 winning coalition is different than his 2024 coalition. His 2024 coalition is made up of a broader array of the electorate, and it's made up of people who are really dissatisfied with the direction that the country is going and who are looking for major changes, particularly as it pertains to the economy.
Now, January is when this all takes place, the inauguration day, the certification of results. That was a tense time in 2020. Do you anticipate that similar type of political unrest between now and inauguration day?
No, I don't think so. From my understanding of the Biden administration and his approach to politics, he will facilitate a peaceful transfer of power to President Trump, and there's not really any. The election was by a wider margin than expected, so I don't think that folks will be concerned.
So harder to be picky about where that
Exactly.
Let's look at a couple things locally. Measure 117, 118. That's the ranked choice voting. Specifically, I want to focus on that. Losing by 20 points. That was a movement that felt a groundswell of support. Does a big loss like that have major impacts on that result?
I think it has to.
Movement? Yeah.
It was a resounding defeat if the numbers bear out as they are currently. And I think that voters basically here in Oregon made their position clear that they liked the current voting system, and ranked choice was not what they wanted.
Dr. James, I really appreciate you joining us this morning on a historic day here in America. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.